Another episode of Locked on Bulls. In today's episode, we have a win to talk about as the Bulls open their season with a big win against the Miami Heat. We're going to break that win down and talk about what the Bulls can do to continue to build off this. But first, got to get into the intro.
You are Locked on Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked on Bulls, member of the Locked on Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. But listen, I don't care about none of that right now. The Chicago Bulls opened the season with a huge win against the Miami Heat, in which the coaching staff looked good. The adjustments Billy Donovan made in this game were on point, and the defense was on point. DeMar, who only scored 9 points in the first half, ends the game with 37 points. Vooch was locked in. He was 1 for 5 from three-point range, but that 1-3 he hit changed the momentum of the game when the Miami Heat were trying to come back. And Ayo Dosunmu has his second son in the NBA, as Kyle Lowry is now Ayo Dosunmu's son as well. Pat, how'd you feel about this game, bro?
First off, I'm buying an IO jersey because he finally proved me right about Kyle Lowry that he's not that guy. Anyway, here's the thing, bro. This is the way that you want to start your season. What'd you do tonight? First game, boom. We can't beat good teams. I still expect the Miami Heat to be a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, we can't beat good teams. We just beat a good team right now. Boom, we can't beat the top defensive teams in the league. Miami's one of the best defensive teams in the league. They were playing really good defense against the Bulls. Bulls found a way to get shots to fall. And, I mean, the biggest thing for me, right, is the fact that you saw this team in the second half go with what worked. In the first half, I was a little bit pissed because Vooch was just pulling threes. We don't need you pulling threes. Second half gets cracking. Throw that mug down. Vooch, spin move. Showing I'm bigger than you.
Yeah.
I love the way that the Chicago Bulls came out in this first game and showed that, hey, guess what? We're not going to be the same team that we were last year, because now we know what we need to be able to do. The continuity actually worked for the Bulls in this game. And guess what? You added in a couple of pieces that really proved to do you right by adding in Goran Dragic and Andre Drummond. So for me, the Chicago Bulls first game is an A+. And I'll ask you this, right? Like, really, I have to focus in on Billy Donovan, because starting off the game with the lineup that he did, I love that. Starting off the game with the rotations that he did, I love that. Me and you have both been critical about Billy Donovan and his adjustments. To the point where I was like, don't hire this mug when he first was on his way here. Where do you feel like Billy Donovan really showed his heart tonight on this game?
I would say the adjustments. Like, when you see that the way that the Bulls, like that first quarter, it got blown up because of basically three-pointers.
Yeah.
They completely changed the way that they ran people off the three-point line and defended the three-pointers. Then when they started finding some success again, it was in the pick and roll. One of the things, what did we say? There was a game last season in which we got murdered. I think it was against the dang Mavericks by a simple pick and roll. It completely ate us up. Billy Donovan, in the adjustments that he made and not waiting, right? They were almost immediate, quarter-to-quarter adjustments. Yeah. The Bulls, they came out flat in so many second halves last game to come out in the third quarter to win that quarter by 10 points. It was that with Billy Donovan in this. He heard it. The adjustments that were made in this game were key. And again, the reason why it hits so hard for me is because he has one of the best coaches in the NBA that he was against. That's a hell of a strategist himself, in Eric Spoelstra. And he outcoached Eric Spoelstra tonight.
I'm not gonna lie to you. My favorite part of this game tonight was when the refs were so bad.
Multiple
plays in a row, and Billy Donovan and Spo both walked out at the same timeout, and they just start cussing the ref out for missing calls on both ends, bro.
They let the players play today, bro. There were so many calls that in most games you would have seen fouls get called. Like that play where Drummond literally kept taking the ball and going like this, and they tapped it out of him, didn't call a single foul call. Like, the refs let the players play today, and if that's something that's going to continue to be done, man, hey, shout out.
I think here's the part that really stood out to me about Billy Donovan and really the Bulls, right? Like, all of a sudden, we're not talking about the defensive rotation of the Chicago Bulls. And I think that this is a mentality that maybe Io being a little bit more experienced and you saw him talking with talking with Drummond, and just adding Drummond into the mix, right? But it wasn't just it wasn't just our defensive players that were showing up on the defensive end. And I think that that's something that has to be credited to Billy Donovan. I think that's something that has to be credited to the players for taking on that mindset, right? Where, okay, yeah, I'm running out to the three-point line, but I'm actually running out with a purpose. I'm trying to get a hand up in somebody's face. Yeah. When you contest threes all night, which in the beginning of the basketball game, right, the Bulls didn't. In the beginning of the game, Tyler Hero was wide open. Strus wide open, right, cashing out. And I'm like, bro, we're doing the same things that we did last year, and that's how Miami built up that early lead in this game. But as you saw the game continue to go on, just a simple hand in the face continuously by our big name guys, I feel like was so key for this team, because all of a sudden, right, the averages started to play themselves out. And DeMar DeRozan was one of the guys that was getting it defensively. Vooch dominated Bam Adebayo tonight. Shout out to Voochie, bro.
Both defensively and offensively. Like he could.
Bam looked hurt, bro. What's going on with him? What's going on with that?
Listen, it may be his spirit at this point after what Vooch did to him. So, like, I don't know about physical. His spirit is hurt. The ancestors felt that one from Bam Adebayo. He gonna have a group meeting with his ancestors. They all gonna be sitting around like, hey man, what
was that?
What was that, man? What we gotta do? But overall, man, it was great to see a lot of the things in this game, as far as from the coaching aspect. The thing that I want to ask you before we get in, I know I said that he has another son. Ayo Dosunmu is a different point guard this season, bro.
Ayo Dosunmu showed you play one, day one, that he's taken a step. And no matter what you do, he's going to test you. Mm-hmm. And you saw it. He tested Lowry, blew past him. He blew past him so quick he smoked the layup. Once he realizes that he can beat you on a step, he's going to take that step every single time. And Ayo Dosunmu continued to do that. You can see that he worked on his game this offseason. He improved the tray ball. He improved, I'll be honest with you, he improved the defense to me. Just how he was bullying guys and being able to switch off ball. I know it's game one. I know I'm probably just hyped right now because of what we saw in game one, and I'll go back and watch some tape as well. I always rewatch the games because I love hearing Stacey King call the game. But Ayo Dosunmu looked very Lonzo Ballish out there in the way that, oh, never mind. They trying to screen up on me. Don't worry, I'll switch down here. I'm down on the big man. I need to get off him and get back to my man. Now I'm back up here. Jimmy Butler's trying to get open, close out on that, bring the double team. I got to give Ayo credit. And I'm crediting the entire Bulls team for the team defense that they showed tonight. But Ayo's defense to me looks like it's improved a lot. And if he's improved his offense even to the point where, like tonight, right? Tonight is 6 points per game more than his average was last season. Mm-hmm. That's a dangerous player.
And with Ayo was the things that we talked about. He didn't pass up the shots that he would pass up at certain times. Like there were some in that first quarter he passed up, but Ayo was decisively. There were times where he would look, if the person wasn't going to get open or didn't separate from his man, he said, all right, I'm about to shoot it. Yeah. And we're about to take it to the lane. Like his 3-point shots were key in a lot of things that we needed. At times that we needed them as well. 3 for 6 from the 3-point range from Ayo Dosunmu. Had the highest second highest plus minus on the team. Vooch had the highest at plus 16. Ayo Dosunmu at plus 15. Ayo played great, bro. Like I don't have anything bad to say about Ayo's game. The defense was key, as you said. The not passing up shots, the confidently taking shots, and then on top of that too, the passes. He only had 4 assists. Yeah. But even like some of the times that he made passes to players, there was no like Ayo didn't show that court vision last season. It was good to see this season.
I think he's more confident in his game, and I'll tell you what, I think he's just more confident in what his abilities are, and he feels like, okay, now that I know that I have these, you're not going to tell me what I can and can't do.
Fair.
Now that I know that I have these, you're not going to tell me where I need to be, where I don't need to be, how I need to play, how I don't need to play. No, I'm going to attack the guy on the other side, or I'm going to make these plays right. By the way, Javonte Green would have underrated dime to Vooch. I don't want to throw that in there because he didn't have any assists either. But I just thought that Ayo showed you something, and I hate to take a jab here, but I guess as we go into our 10-minute mark and we're going to do an ad read, I'll take this jab because it'll start the next conversation, right? Io showed you on the first play of the game, my offseason workout turned me into a different level player this season. And that's what I wanted to see from P. Will tonight, and we didn't.
We'll talk about that. But as you said and alluded to, I got to talk to you guys about BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for your betting, football, and the start of the new basketball season. Find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every game. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sports wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. The fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline is where the game starts. All right, Pat. So we're going to talk about Patrick Williams. I'm going to put that off a little bit for a second, right? Because I want to talk about two key things in this Bulls game, and that's the number 37. Because that's the number of points that DeMar DeRozan scored. But 37 is also the number of points we got from the bench in this game. There are games last year in which we had less than double-digit scoring from the bench as a whole. We got 37 points from the Chicago Bulls bench in this game. Let's talk about DeMar. Let's talk about the Bulls bench. You can take either one away first, whatever you want to go.
I mean, listen, DeMar is what DeMar is, right? Like we know what DeMar can do, right? I think to me, right, the Bulls bench is a credit to what Acme wanted to put together. Arturas and Mark Eversley absolutely came out and put together a squad that not only deepens the Chicago Bulls bench, but also fit the needs that this team wasn't able to provide last season. What do I mean by that? It's the same thing. It's the same thing I said about Philly when they traded Drummond. When you've got guys that are on your bench that make you look around and go, hey, where's my starting center? Where's my starting shooting guard? Where's my start? Like, what are they okay? That's when you know not only do you have depth on your team, but also that you're going to be able to get your starters back in and they're going to be able to cook. The reason I felt good about this Bulls game, the entire game, I'm telling people, calm down, relax, we're fine. We got to the second quarter at about 8 minutes, and DeMar had played 9 minutes. Vooch had played 10 minutes. When you have a bench that can come in, and they can be like, no, don't worry about it. Get a rest in. We're going to do this, and we're going to bring this game close, and we're going to get this game back within 3 or within 5, or right? Like, when you're able to do that, then all of a sudden you look at you feel good when your starters come back in because you're like, wait a minute, I know what DeMar DeRozan can do.
Yeah.
So now we're close, and he ain't did nothing yet? Oh, we finna cook him. That's what I want to see from this Bulls team all season. You know why? And I'm not saying the Bulls are going to the NBA Finals based off of one game, but the teams that go deep in the playoffs are the teams where the Golden State Warriors, Stephen Curry doesn't have to be out there because Jordan Poole can go be out there for 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, whatever you need him to be out there for. Those are the teams that go the furthest in the Eastern or in the NBA, and that's how you go deep in this Eastern Conference to me.
Yeah, I mean, this is like you said, built to last. Like, it's built to be that's a team that's built for the playoffs, right? Is when you have now we have to see that sustain over the season.
You gotta see it sustain. That's what,
we gotta
it's
see
one
it
game.
sustain.
It's one game. We hype.
But for sure, in the way that they went about it today, in the way that everything looked, and it was great to see. Now, I do want to piggyback though, and or double back to the point you made about Patrick Williams. How did you feel about Patrick Williams' game?
I will keep the same energy because I feel like if I don't, it's disrespectful that I kept for Larry Markkinen. I'll keep the same energy that I kept them keeping for Kobe White. I'll keep the same energy that I would have kept for Wendell Carter Jr. that I keep for every young player in when you come into the NBA. Year 3 needs to be the time where you're confident in what your abilities are. Mm-hmm. Patrick Williams does not look confident in what his abilities are. The reason that I say that is when he wanted to go, we saw Patrick Williams go 3 times. He scored every time. We saw Patrick Williams go 3 times tonight. think he took what? What did he take? 6 shots? He was 3 for 6?
6 shots.
But when he really went, like when he was like, you're not better than me. I'm bigger than you. I can get to the bucket on you. He did it on, I think he did it on Bam. He did it on Kyle Lowry. He did it on Strus. They couldn't stand in front of him. But he doesn't believe that.
He was 2 for 6. The thing that frustrated me in this game with Pat was there were several times where Tyler Hero got switched on him, and that to me is where you need to kill him. He should have did to Tyler Hero to where Tyler Hero was like, "Hey, listen, if y'all switch me on Patrick Williams again, I'm going home." That's the mindset that Patrick Williams needs to develop, bro.
And it's not there.
It's not.
And I hate it, but it's not there, right? You know what? And here's the thing. It's not there for Patrick Williams, but it's there for Ayo Dosunmu. Right? Like different roles, but here's the thing. Ayo had a tougher matchup.
Oh, for sure.
Ayo was getting Jimmy Butler switched on to him. You know what I mean? Like that's why I'm looking at Patrick Williams when I'm saying, especially right in games like this, there's 15 games at a minimum this season that Patrick Williams is going to be able to be the number 2 option if he wants to be. Because the Bulls are only going to play Zach LaVine 65 games this season. They're going to load manage him. So that means there's 15 games for you to show out. This was one of them. And you didn't show up. You didn't show out. You really didn't even take a shot till what? The second quarter?
No, he took a shot.
You gotta be better.
He took a shot in the first quarter. No, you're right. It was the second.
He didn't take a shot till the second quarter.
My brain registered that as second half, but you're right. No, he took it wasn't until the second quarter. And then the thing is too, and then I said this over on Central when I was doing my stream. There is something to be said, the fact that you can tell no plays were ran for Patrick Williams. And the thing that I would challenge Patrick Williams with, and for those that are listening to both, I apologize for double upping on this, but I think it's a good point. I'm going to make it here as well, is that I just want to see Patrick Williams slash to the bucket, move without the ball, and go hard after every offensive rebound, and then when he can, try to put it back up. He does those 3 things with the defense that he put, because his off the ball and on the ball defense was pretty good this game.
Yeah,
but if he does those things on the offensive end, that completely changes the outlook for Patrick Williams. He just has to realize that he can do that.
But and here's the thing with me about P. Will, and it's the only issue that I have. When is that mentality going to come? We're in year 3 of P. I get like he didn't play as much in year 2. I'm fine with that. But when he did play, guess what? He actually played well. A couple 20-point games, 35-point game. You see what you can do. When is that confidence going to come into you? That's the question I have, and I said it on here. I said it on the Breeze. I said it on your when I did the show with you. The difference in him becoming a top player in the NBA and Otto Porter is here. And if he don't get there, it may not come. And that's fine, right? Doesn't mean he can't be a player in the NBA. He's still talented. He's still got skill. He still can have those moments, right? But that's not what you thought you were getting with your 4th pick in the draft. And you may have to pivot your mindset on that this season. You're not going to trade him. Like, I love the Bulls fans that are in the chat. Like, we should have traded him. We should trade him. You're not going to trade him. They picked up his 4th-year option. They're not trading him.
They're not trading him. It's not happening, y'all. Like, and that's the thing. I understand it to a degree, especially with his play. I don't want to act like I don't understand the fans that are like, well, let's trade him. But you got to understand how this front office sees Patrick Williams. They're not trading him anytime. They're going to give him every opportunity to hit that potential.
Oh yeah. And listen, that's why. Here's the thing: first off, you're a weirdo to me if you want one of your players to be bad just so you can be right. Like, you'll always be a weirdo to me, bro. Like, that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. When Muzz be like, "I told you he was sucked. I told you he was bad." It was like, so you wanted him to be bad so you can be right.
So you're talking about P. Kid? I'm just messing with you, bro. I'm just messing.
Shots fired over on Locked On Bulls, man. We're gonna have you on the Breeze so y'all can ask that. I mean, kind of, but like, it's just weird to me.
Yeah,
like,
no, I agree.
Like, I want Patrick, no matter what. And no, I'm not gonna say that, because I will say this: Kid is going to hold your feet to the fire. He wants him to be good, though, but he's also gonna be like, bro, you was picked here. You should be better than this. But like, to me, right, it's on Patrick Williams to take that. Like, nobody's going to take that step for you. Nobody's going to make that leap for you. Guess what? Ayo Dosunmu did it tonight.
Yeah.
Versus a bulldog of a point guard in Kyle Lowry, who, while offensively was trash, defensively was still able to get after it a little bit, right? Like, he was pushing up on Ayo, and guess what Ayo did? Get off of him.
I mean, when you got a BBL, you want to push up on somebody.
Bro, I mean, whoa, what? Hey, I think I'm gonna do the game read so that we can get into this next segment, my boy. What did you just? Hey, we want to thank you guys for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day. Let me get second listen, game to game NBA, every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NBA with local analysts that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game and Locked On NBA available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Let's keep moving.
Gotta keep it moving. Gotta keep it moving.
Jesus Christ and Byron on that one, brother. Whoa.
All right. Last topic of the day. Where the Bulls have back-to-backs this weekend, we know that they face the Washington Wizards Friday and then the Cleveland Cavaliers at home on Saturday. What are some of the things in this game that you think that they can look at, take, and build upon going into those games this weekend?
I think the biggest thing that you can take into the next game is how you use Vooch in that second half. I think another big thing that you can really take into your next game is Billy Donovan continue with those rotations. I thought the rotations were beautiful tonight. I mean, literally, like how he used them, how he staggered the minutes of the guys. And I think this is the thing, right? I think Billy Donovan, and I understand a lot of people, like, as much as I didn't like the hire of Billy Donovan coming in, I also could see what he was working with last year. I think he tried this last year, but when you're going from Derrick Jones Jr. to Troy Brown, you're a little limited, right? Making that change from Ayo Dosunmu to Alex Caruso makes it look a lot better. But I really thought they did a good job with the rotations and putting the right lineups out there based on who was on the court, right? Tyler Hero got on the court, Ayo Dosunmu popped up. When Tyler Hero went to the bench, okay, we can rest him a little bit, or we're going to bring in Caruso. Now let's dominate these guys. Like, you have a lot of high IQ guys on the court at once, Dragic, Caruso, Ayo, and I think that that's really what this Bulls team needs to keep doing. I love doing that.
Agreed. I as long as they stay to the things that are working, right? We saw in that first quarter, I don't know if it was because they didn't have Zach. I don't know if it was because the Miami Heat came out with a barrage of threes. Yeah. They went away from what we saw in the preseason as far as moving without the ball, cutting, the rotating out to the three-point line. But I think, like, the fact that you did get away from it, so you see when you get away from that game plan, you're not going to have success. Yeah. They stuck to their game plan. They got back to it. They locked in defensively when needed, and they got results for that. That's what I want to see them maintain. And, like, I'll tell you this, bro. Again, this is overreaction from one game, I admit. But you talk about a bench mob, this may be the bench mob when it's all said and done.
Yeah, all right, let's not get disrespectful.
Bro, I'm telling you.
Let's not get disrespectful. The bench mob, bro?
I'm talking about in Chicago, over the bench mob that we had in our Eastern Conference Finals run.
I don't know about that one, dog.
Bro, I'm telling you.
That's a tough one for me.
I'm telling you, bro.
That's a tough one for me, bro. That bench mob. Come on, bro. Drummond is Taj. Come on, bro. I mean, like, we can go down the bench mob and feel good about that one. I will say we got the Ronnie Brewer. I was like, all right, dog, relax. No, I'll say this, right? And we really didn't focus in much on them. We kind of like glossed over them. But I mean, you have to talk about the addition to that bench that AK made. Again, you went with continuity over adding a major piece this offseason. And so what do? I got to fill in the cracks. There's definitely cracks on this team. I got to fill in the cracks. Me and you brought up Dragic's shooting numbers on this show many times. He showed that tonight. Hey, the one three-pointer. Relax, Goran Dragic. Like, when he threw that mug trying to draw the foul and that mug went in, I was like, bruh, stop it. But Goran Dragic comes in. He's an excellent shooter from the three-point line for his career, and his catch and shoot numbers are above 40%. Really good shooter. Something that I like to see from that. Andre Drummond coming in, 9 points, 5 rebounds, but just being a force the entire time. And I'm going to be honest with you, right? Being a little bit of a backbone for that bench unit, because there was times when they were trying to, like, push Drummond and them around, and Drummond was like, bro, you're not pushing me, bro. Like, call the foul. But, like, you're not finna just push me around and I'm going to get moved out the way. Like, come on now. And I got to give credit. There's one person that there's Bulls fans probably aren't going to give as much credit to because of where he was drafted. I got to give credit to Kobe White. Kobe White came out today, didn't have the greatest shooting percentage.
Oh, he had a terrible first half. That second half was great, though. Yeah.
Horrible first half, right? Second half, he got the shot falling a little bit, was attacking a little bit better. But I say this. Tonight, again, mentality. A lot of this stuff is just about being mentally stronger than the guy across from you. Kobe White on the defensive end was not, I'm not going to say he was a lockdown defender, but his help defense tonight, him just being in the right positions, him looking to take charges, all those things that we saw from Kobe White tonight on a bad shooting night, you wouldn't have seen that last season. I'll clap it up for Mr. Clap It Up.
Fair enough.
That's a whole different mentality right there.
I love what Kobe did, like even when his shot wasn't falling. Kobe's court vision has improved greatly in this offseason. Like some of the passes he's able to make. I love the fact that Kobe also realized at one point that his shot wasn't falling, and then he started trying to put the ball on the floor and take it to the cup. These are improvements from Kobe. He didn't shoot the best percentage. He was 4 of 11 from the field. But I will say is that you have to watch the game to really appreciate it, because from one half to another, it was night and day, and Kobe looked really good in that second half.
Yeah, no, and I think that's right, like understanding when your shot's not falling, understanding, okay, I need to get to the bucket, but right, like not taking yourself out of the game. That was what the Bulls would do so much last season. Yeah. They pull themselves out of the game. Like mentally, it'd be like, oh, I'm not knocking down my shot. Okay, I'm useless. Even DeMar DeRozan, he would do that, right? Like if the shot wasn't falling, he wasn't giving you nothing on the defensive end. Oh, I'm not in that, right? Like that's not a mindset of a winning team. You have to do better than that. And I think the Bulls really did a good job in this game of keeping themselves engaged on the defensive end versus a team that, listen, was hot from the 3-point line. Like they were hands in their face and they were like, it don't matter. I'm gonna knock this down. It don't matter. So I feel like when you talk about that bench mob, you got to give those boys credit. But I do want to we do got to finish out on the guy that we got to talk about. I mean, come on now. 37 points, 9 in the first half, 28 in the second half, bro. What did you see from DeMar tonight that you loved or hated? I don't know how you view a 37-point game, but that you love.
This is the thing. At this point, it's just DeMar being DeMar. Like I hate to say that you expect this type of performance, but literally, and DeMar can have these 35, these 37-point games, and you can literally be like, hey, man, it was so effortless. Outside of that dunk that he had, which was a great dunk, too, by the way.
Hey, there's a clip coming for that. Don't you worry.
But outside of that, like, the way that DeMar just went about his business, like, literally, bro, he is the lunch pail basketball player. And by that, I mean he just goes to work, and when it's done, you end with a victory and you go home, bro. Like DeMar played great tonight, brother.
No, yeah, I think that DeMar was one of the guys that you looked at tonight and you said, we're just waiting for it to click in. And the fact that, and here's the thing, as Bulls fans, we haven't had a guy in a long time that we could just wait for. We haven't had a guy in a long time that we could say, I'm just waiting for him to get going. When it was 59, or was it 53 going into the half, DeMar had 9, but he had took 6 shots. I said, oh, we're going to win. We got this. And I was looking at Ringo. Ringo sitting here. He was in the building, opposite the building. And I was just like, bro, like DeMar hasn't done anything yet. And guess what? We now have a player, Bulls fans, that we can put our faith in, and that player is going to live up to our faith. And to me, that is something that we haven't had probably since what, Derek? Yeah, Jimmy. I'll give him
Jimmy. Yeah,
Jimmy was a closer. Jimmy was a closer. And I mean, listen, on both ends of the court tonight, the defense of DeMar surprised me greatly tonight. It really surprised me greatly.
And that's the thing that people forget, right? Is that I've always said this. Team defense is a thing for a reason. When you have a team that buys into the brand of team defenses that you're going to be, the culture there, it can change it. DeMar locked in defensively on a couple of possessions, bro. Yes. And it was just like, all right, well, okay. All right, DeMar.
That's what we doing.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Listen, set that tone, young man. Set that tone.
No, that's what you want to see from DeMar. And I think that when you look at DeMar DeRozan, right, you know what he's going to bring. And here's the thing, right? DeMar was actually to a point where he didn't have to cook. He just started. You just going to start watching the clip right there, bro?
That's not what it was supposed to happen. Don't worry about that.
Don't
worry about that.
You just gonna start watching it.
That was a Ringo moment.
He wasn't listening to me at all. He hasn't listened to me this entire podcast.
Shut up, bro. Keep going. You're acting light skinned there, brother.
I thought we had something here. No, the part of me that gets me the most excited about DeMar, though, is DeMar's vision tonight. Yeah. Like, the 37 is great, but guess what? When Zach LaVine comes back, I don't want DeMar getting 37. DeMar with 9 assists tonight. Bro. That's the part where, okay, he's seeing everything that's happening on the court. He's finding the open guy, and the open guy is knocking down shots. That's what I want to see. That's
another thing. Before we go, because I do want to talk about this, and I don't want this to get overlooked before we go, because the Bulls couldn't get a three-pointer to fall. And they still didn't shoot it the best overall, but they took 36 three-pointers in this game, made 13 of them. That's 36%. Keep in mind, there were times where last season, especially when Lonzo wasn't out there, the Bulls maybe took 15 threes the whole game.
Yeah.
Another improvement from the Chicago Bulls.
Now, here's the thing, right? Can they keep it up? Right? This is game one. This is play one. We're excited. Bulls fans love it. Guess what? We had this last season. Can you keep it up? That's the biggest question that's going to be surrounding the Chicago Bulls team all season. Yeah. And, I mean, listen, right? Early on, I feel great about what we saw from DeMar. Oh, by the way, we cannot leave this show without acknowledging Vooch. Vooch passed up Chris Webber for 45th on the all-time defensive rebounds list. So shout out to Nikola Vucevic for moving up the board. I think he'll do a lot more of that.
Especially on this team. I mean, you getting 13 and 16 rebounds per night. Like, just be prepared. Vooch may shoot up like to what he said. He's 45th now.
Yeah.
What do you know? How many is between him and the next?
I don't know. We can look that up before we get up out of here. Hold on. All time. It was such a specific list too. I was like, he's 45th on the all time rebounds list. No, all time defensive rebounds list. Let's see, all-time defensive rebounds list. Because Vooch now is 45th, and like now that it's on the spot, I'll never be able to find it. Here we go. So for shout out to Andre Drummond being 43rd. I don't even see where Vooch is right.
He wouldn't be listed there that quick. They probably don't have it updated.
They probably don't have it updated.
Yeah. This is who's at number 45 and what's the number?
45 right now. Another former Chicago Bull, Carlos Boozer.
For defensive rebounding?
Let me make sure I'm on the right thing. NBA, ABA career leaders and records for defensive rebounding.
Oh, he's getting that. That's not. Don't even worry about it. He'll have that by the 20th game of the season. I don't even care what the number is.
Oh, where's it at? 6,155 for Carlos Boozer.
All right. Well, there you go.
Shout out to Carlos Boozer.
Shout out to Carlos. All right, bro. But that's it.
Is that combined? So that's combined. So that's NBA and ABA combined list. So here's where Vooch is. So 45 right now. So Vooch just moved up past Chris Webber. Next up is not Carlos Boozer. Next up is Russell Westbrook. 5,861. Also, Russell Westbrook. He might not. I'm not gonna lie to you. He might never catch Russ. Russ is going defensive rebound.
That's crazy. All right, bro, man. Go ahead and send this home.
Let's get up out of here, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and rocking with us. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls, and make sure you follow us both, or follow me at everything at Pat the Designer. I'm sure that I'll be tweeting about this game and all of that stuff in its glory tonight. So make sure y'all show love there.
Absolutely. You can follow me at CEO Haize, CEO Haize. And thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day. Now for your second listen, go and check on Locked On NBA. The NBA season is here, and our local NBA experts and insiders have you covered on and off the court all season long. All the biggest stories around the NBA every Monday through Friday in less than 30 minutes. Available on YouTube, Odyssey, and wherever you get your podcasts. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This is Locked On Bulls. We out this mug. Peace, y'all.
Peace.